Whoa. Oh, I think that's supposed to be lights passing by of traffic on the overpasses. Very high speed for that. Especially given they've got those openings on the sides. A death drop onto whatever garbage dump this is. Ooh. But there is a strange mixture of the old and new at play here, isn't there? Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Gary's Mod. And today, the map we're going to be exploring is RP Sewer Lane. A really inventive idea for a map in which we apparently play in a modern or even futuristic city that is built on the remains of an old castle. I love maps like this. I love it when you take two seemingly contrasting ideas that don't belong anywhere near each other, and you merge them in a way where the story it tells makes it make sense. As for right now, we have the dystopian futuristic merging with the old and, I suppose, revered. That tower still stands over this city, but the sights that you see from up there must be drastically different from what they once did. And as for us, we are at the farthest possible point under an overpass in a dump. And, well, it looks like we have two different options for where we can go. Let's start with the bright red lights over by those doors. Maybe we can get up to street level from there? This feels like LA in Terminator, doesn't it? I mean, everything is so bleak. It's a mound of rubble. And even the infrastructure that stands on top of it is falling apart. Can we come in? I suppose we can. Ooh, hang on. Yeah, there's something there, but I can't quite get up on my toes high enough. Double the daily output. Wait, Sector F personnel must double the daily output until further notice. Is this some kind of mine? Okay, yeah, that's definitely gonna help. Can't even bother to fix the benches. We've got rail running through. Minor component gathering. Yep. Well, I suppose all of this has got to be sustained somehow, right? So then this must be some sort of sorting room, but that still doesn't tell us what they do here. You look up and we've got these strange vents, which I don't know if those are skylights or some sort of ventilation, but they certainly have very hostile seeming architecture. I can just imagine people working in here in like 200-degree temperatures. Wasteland. This whole thing has a really infra feel to it, you know, the later parts of the game. That doesn't look like it would allow carts to pass through. But given that there's a slot for one here that's open, I guess it could be placed over temporarily. Major component gathering. Alright, well, maybe we'll get a better look at what major components look like. It's a whole complex. Look at this, these yellow lights on the walls, narrow alleys, rusting sheet metal for the walls, and bridges with barbed wire overhead. And the sound of air escaping from something somewhere in here, fires burning all over for warmth or industry, I don't know. This is already such a vibe. God, there is so much detail and immersion features packed into this one little thing. Like, it's sort of comfy in that nighttime city way. and yet at the same time, you can just feel the plight. You can feel the poverty. Look at this. This almost looks like a structure from like the early 1900s. The frosted, like, rippled glass and wood panels. Even the metalwork, it's like they used to build things that way, where even stuff like this would be so ornate for no reason. And I kind of miss it. I don't know. I mean, like, if you're gonna have a dystopia, you better at least make it look like Gotham City. Seriously, this looks like any moment now I'm gonna look up and see the Caped Crusader fly between rooftops. And then I'd throw up my hands ready to square up and say, "It's the freaking bat!" But there was still more to see over this way. Yep. Military zone. This whole thing is very nicely vertical. Makes sense, and this is the checkpoint where we can watch whoever's coming in. So maybe at one time they had use for that site that we spawned in. As it stands, it kind of feels like we broke the law and were dumped in the outskirts. Oh well, I'm back in, and I'm ready to break some more laws. That goes up to another level, this goes to another. It's like chutes and ladders. Ooh. I love stuff like this. I love, like, interweaving architecture. Floors that are, like, 1.5, 2 2/3. Very wide areas, condensing into very narrow ones, and then back out again. And I guess here's the generator. But we can't seem to mess with it. Some things are metal, concrete, wood, and it all just seems to be built around itself. You know, in the context of the greater map, it's cool that the idea of old, like, ancient architecture merging with modern industrial stuff, it's even applied on this level, where everything feels like... Wait, what just... It felt like a light just went out right there, but I couldn't place where it was. Oh, it's the flame. Ooh. Every once in a while, it has to expel and ignite whatever waste gas is coming out. Now that I look at it, maybe I wasn't dumped in the worst of places, huh? Ooh. Can we see that tower from here? Not quite. But in that context, that's sort of cool. We're not going to be able to reach this ladder, are we? Yep. Because, think about it. The whole theme of this map is that it's a modern city built around old ruins. But even the new construction looks like that. It looks like it's stuff that was built 100 years ago, and new stuff on top of that meant to sort of upgrade and redesign and redefine it. This whole thing, you almost expect that to come down and this be like some kind of freight elevator. And back out to here. Okay, well, we could go through that door over there, but you know what? Let's start with where we've already been. Yep. Oh my god. You know what I've just realized? I mean, this is an RP map. How have I not already thought about this? This is an RP map, meaning it's meant to be legitimately played on, not just explored. I love RP maps where you can, like, parkour, chase, run away from the police. And this feels like a map that is very heavy on the policing. All the smoke in the air, I imagine covering my mouth with my shirt. Not that it would probably make much difference. Still, hey, the glow of a fire casting on brick, it's impossible for it to not be at least somewhat comfy. Looks like these are some industrial workstations. I wonder what they'd be burning, though. It's all very unspecific, just industry. Here's where the boss sits and watches over the lemmings. I don't know why that startled me. I knew it was out here. But no path is obvious. It's always ducking behind something or climbing a staircase that looks like it goes nowhere. From here, we can look down onto the paths, watch who's about to come up for a meeting with the boss, or maybe ambush a gang that's coming to collect their extortion money. One of these days, like, where it says 4 on a check, I want to write extortion. Look at this. Yep, there's that tower. You look up and you wonder if somebody's looking down on you. This is a map where it really pays to look up a lot, I can already tell. Yep. Seriously, though, you hear that? It sounds like I'm being followed by Darth Vader or something. Ooh. I don't think I did that. But if I'm being invited in, we might as well... Oh, you received... I just got a Steam notification. Yep. What is this place? Well, if you are to send a gang to collect extortion money, this would be a good headquarters to do it from. The impossibly high-speed traffic, like, it gives the impression that even this place is forgotten. The new keeps being built, but the old is left behind. Not destroyed, not repurposed, simply left. Or rather, repurposed until it couldn't be anymore. There are cities like that. There are cities that are just like layer upon layer. The old rising up to meet the new. It's actually almost like geology, you know? Alright, we've already been here. We've worked our way around. Come in. Ooh. I see we don't really care much for railings in this world, but this is nice. I feel like a lot of people have made a very nervous march up here after being called off the line. Walking up trying to find out if they still have a job. Look at this. It's all just so much stuff, you know? Like, it's not just interchangeable areas, it's all packed in so tightly. Like, it's only barely made to accommodate humans because they had to. Ooh. Look at this. Maybe it's like a steel mill? I mean, I've explored a number of abandoned places like this in my time, but I've never seen it with the furnaces blazing. This is so cool. I mean, I can feel myself starting to sweat just looking at it, but it looks awesome. The catwalks and windows up above. There's a space down there. It is going to be so difficult to stay organized. Even the doors, like, they slowly grind open. Look at that, they installed a new door, but didn't even bother to get rid of the old one after it was knocked off its hinges. It's like humans behaving like the Combine or something. Well, this certainly feels a little cooler. Cooler in that we've risen to meet the cold air. Cooler in that the colors are literally cooler. We've got all those units turning away up there. And now we can actually feel wind instead of the roar of fire and machinery. Everything looks so different from a different perspective. But climbing up is usually the way to go. Alright, we can get down there, but we don't want to yet. Also, I just jumped. I don't know what's happened to my footsteps. There we go. Couple of places we can go, but I don't think we're done picking around in the dirt yet. This is a map where I feel like I'm probably not going to see everything, just because it's impossible to keep track of everything. Is there anything down at the end of this catwalk? No? Alright, let's take the quick way down then. And careful not to let our feet touch the pipe. Yep. Very nearly didn't make that. Ba-doop and doop. I just felt the temperature drop by 30 degrees stepping through those plastic blinds. Oh no, you don't really... Most claustrophobic we've been yet. Oh, look at this. It's an abandoned subway station. Or rather, it looks like it may have been used as like a public platform at one time, and then maybe overtaken by industry for that use, and now left behind even for that. And it's clear that the giant rats chewed through these boxes. So that'll be fun when the time comes. Okay, these stairs go up. So that probably leads up and out of here. Look. A lot of those windows are actually broken, so it must have been left for some time. This whole map literally reminds me of the way Batman the Animated Series was drawn. Like this combination of the old and the new, of like genuinely interesting architecture left to rot, and the feeling that even in universe, they just don't build it this way anymore. Unable to fetch request, contact local operator. Huh. I guess at some point this was installed with a modern ticker system. Whoa. This is a bit more complex than I was expecting. I don't like how that sound was going and then it just stopped. Like something heard me coming. Oh, this comes out here. Look at that. Oh, and I think we're starting to come to the edge of the truly old. Look. Not only do we have that tower, and what looks almost like the Roman Colosseum down beside it, there's a giant statue facing downward, literally looking down on the city. That would be an iconic image that goes on all the postcards, that's for sure. But I want to explore this neat subway station some more. I guess sooner or later I'll have to put in the effort of standing up, huh? Honestly, standing up is worse than crouching down. Look, all these empty booths that once held vendors. Actually, it looks like we can't even get to there. This is crazy. It actually reminds me of like a smaller version, a cozier version of Penn Station, where you have all these little shops. It's almost like a whole underground city, all its own. And it goes even deeper. I mean, come on, how cool is this? The only thing I can't believe is that in a city like this, people wouldn't have moved in and turned these all into little apartments. You know, I know a lot of subway stations, especially those built during the Cold War, were built to serve as bomb shelters and accommodate lots of people. I wonder if they weren't actually built, like, intentionally so that you could potentially sustain long-term life down there. I mean, I doubt it. There'd be no, like, agriculture or anything. Can't open this door. Nor any of these. Ooh. That's crazy. The stains on the ground literally disappear under my flashlight. That's hilarious. You know how I always say that I get unnerved, but also in a bit of a brain loop? I kind of can't think straight when there's no ambient sound on a map. This one is the exact opposite. Everywhere you go, like, it fully immerses you with the sound design. This is fantastic. Whether it's the rumble of traffic outside, the flames belching from machines, or just the dripping of water in an old bathroom. Look. This is a deeper line, presumably one built even before the one up above. Down here we've got a ceiling collapse. Actually, a collapse down here probably means you can't sustain the one up there, right? The ghost of some dirt? And plenty of flies picking off of it. Yep. I guess at one time this would have been an operator's booth. Long since outdated. Yep. I don't feel comfortable walking under all this. But that doesn't look like regular decay. That looks more like a borehole, like somebody specifically tunneled their way through. And those candles certainly give credence to that idea. Look at this. The graffiti above this entrance said sewers. But it feels more like a crypt. Yep. Oh, look at this. This reminds me so much of Amnesia. In fact, I feel like this is appropriate for exploring here. You know, I haven't even noticed the transitions. I mean, I haven't even been... Oh boy. Okay, we'll hold that thought. Look at you. This all must be part of that old foundation, the old foundation that the city is built on. Of course, it's not just the ruins that tower over the city. Everything they built below is still here. In fact, the sewers themselves may have even still been in use. I mean, what are you gonna do? Replace it? It's already down here. And just think, we look at that, we can't attach a name. But at one time, at one point in time, that's a face that would have been akin to God, a king. Or at least that's my assumption. I mean, can you imagine if, like, you unearthed iconography in the distant future of a figure like Jesus or somebody else with, like, that kind of significance and being like, ooh, I wonder who it was. Well, we're going upward again. A different figure altogether. Why is your mouth open? If there were a basin below you, I'd imagine that water would have once flowed outward. Do you think the ancients ever did stuff like that, like, purely out of pettiness, like knowing how funny it was? Like, do you think a duke or a lord or somebody threw up at a feast one day and they decided to make a whole bunch of, like, spigots and faucets like that? Wait, was there something back here? There is. There's things everywhere. And yet there's a modern door kicked in. It looks like it's set up to be some kind of archaeological site. Well, let's finish down here before we check that out. My God, nope, not what I want to do. You see that moving? You see that leg movement? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. My character is trying to do, like, the Scooby-Doo run. Why would you do... I have never seen it do that before, and you start doing it right on the precipice of certain death. Not only certain death, I can't help but feel like that leads somewhere humanity ought not go. I mean, clearly this is more than a sewer. This had some significance. That definitely looks like it was meant to facilitate the flow of water or the blood of their enemies. No, why do you keep doing that here? Stop that, you. God, even my own body is trying to sacrifice me. Okay, I think this is where we were looking before. Yep. It's just a maze of yous, guys. Well then, let's see where that ramp leads. Look at that. It's like they were building new infrastructure. And it all just ended up right back in here. Look. I can make out, like, a nose, teeth, but the top of the face is completely missing. Either it was always like that, a maw welcoming in everything that flows downward into that pit, or we cleaved the top off because it was in the way of whatever we were building. Here we are, right at the base. Feels so strange to be out here and just hearing the sounds of people going about their business again. Anyway, as I was saying before, I got distracted like 6 times in a row. All of this is just so seamless. Like, we started in a certain place, and I've never felt the transition from one place to another. It's all just interconnected, like the way veins and arteries weave through a body. I imagine many illicit alcohol sales are made through this window. I do love economics. Well, here's a good place to hide. And not much else. Total Surveillance Incorporated. The lights are on, but it looks to be abandoned. Look, there's chains running all between the supports. Sheet metal up in between. Although, given the way the rest of the city looks, I'm starting to feel like it's just a style choice. Wasteland. I think I already know what this door is going to be. Yeah, this is a society very averse to railings. Yep, we've come full circle. I swear, of all the safety hazards that are just out in public in this place, you would think that it's kind of surprising that a door is probably going to be what does me in. Parking. Parking, you guys. As if you can get a car through these streets. Marigold Hotel. I feel like this is the kind of thing you just stumble upon. One day you're walking through the streets in need of accommodation. You think, this place looks nice. And then you look up to see a woman in Victorian attire staring down at you coldly from the top window. Anyway, let's go in. Maybe she's single. I didn't expect that to actually work. Oh my, I think they may not be open for business. But look, these dirty sheets covering these seats that once warmed people by the fire. Almost makes it look like one big couch now. When I walked in, my first thought was that it actually looks pretty comfy, which is exactly why I would go to sit between them and fall right through. All laundry done right back here. I mean, so clearly it's not just a gradient. This whole city is neglected. But it's not abandoned. We can see, like, the traffic moving above. It's just that, yes, all of this, for as long as it may have been around, has finally just been built over. Something you drive over and look down on as you go. I feel like these are the types of rooms where you'd never be able to get any sleep because of the glow from the signs across the street just projecting into your room. But if their goal was to have an amnesia-themed hotel, they certainly succeeded. I mean, cinderblock concrete walls. And some surprisingly ornate windows. Actually, it looks like the panels are broken in this one. But I wonder if this is one of those maps where the creator just kind of starts with an idea and goes. Just sees where something isn't and thinks, I know it can go there. We can totally fit this. And, well, in a case like this, it's almost like the more awkward, the better. The more inventive it ends up looking. I don't suppose we'll be able to open that up there, right? Huh. It actually is. I've got to start trying more doors. It's a Minecraft house. You can only go upstairs by ladder. There's no stairs. Oops, oops. Ladder's also not easy to use in VR. I can't see this as anything but a room for a person if it were furnished. Although it actually kind of looks like it had windows at some point and they put up these false walls they couldn't be bothered to finish. How passive-aggressive would a hotel have to be to refer to itself as parking? Ooh. Well, at least there's some really dirty skylights on this floor. Well, at least we know there were vehicles down here at some point. Is this actually meant to be used by people? That is the steepest ramp ever. I mean, it looks more like it's meant to keep rainwater out of the upper levels, you know, by dumping it down on the poor people in the lower levels. But even still, you just know the kids would be sledding down this during the winter. A few lost teeth is a small price to pay for some fun. Ooh, where does this go? Like I said earlier, it's like chutes and ladders up in here. Huh. There's actually no door. In fact, those look like basement windows. We're probably beneath the parking hotel. This is a nice, cozy little hideaway. I mean, you could totally turn this into a gaming den. Soon we'll see what's over there. Wow, you put ominous spaces on everything. In fact, that one only looks vaguely human. I wonder, was that some kind of creature of worship, or was it actually something that walked this land at one point, forgotten by the rest of us? Something we would do well to remember. It legitimately looks like in some places they just turned ruins into modern structures. Let's see what's playing tonight. Kind of hard to read that. And once more, it pays to look up, because even this has been built on top of by more modern-looking buildings. Alright, I feel like I don't want to move on from here until I see what's going on across the street. Look, slums of slums down here. I mean, even the homeless have a class system, it seems like. All these little shanties. Welcome to good life. That way, if anybody asks you where you live, oh, I'm living the good life. I guess if you're gonna stay here, you've got to carve out a niche for yourself wherever you can, right? Yep. Let's see if we can cross over. Not really. Not really. Okay, there's a bridge right there. But I don't know if we're going to be able to get in. Anything that was here, anything that was industry or business, it's all closed down now. Scrapland. The graffiti not only tells you helpfully where you're going and serves to build the world, it's also literally breaking down the map into its components. Yeah, we must have been through here. Yeah. Wait, what? Okay, we've been through here, but it's weird how I actually don't recognize it at this point. Okay, maybe we haven't been through here specifically. It's just, it's such a complicated weave. Yes, we've been through all this. Okay, we can head back. What about down here? Here is the subway platform. And we're being directed further downward. You know, in the dark, without shining my light over this, it almost looks like another shanty town. Maybe that's the near future of this place. But we are finished. Stairs are clipped, so things aren't all bad in this city. They got some modern technology. Now, about that hole in the wall. Workers' town. This too was industrial, but the fact that it's now silent and cold makes it definitely a stark contrast between this and Scrap Town. I absolutely adore this like late early 1900s construction. I love it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it probably felt old even then. But up here we just have some more offices. Oddly enough, with one room sealed shut. Let's take the short way down. Oh, these buildings are like actually destroyed. Barrels burning for heat, windows broken, doors boarded. Unlike everywhere else, this is completely dead. There's actually very few sounds as well, which, given the status of the rest of the map, must be an intentional choice. I guess when there's no more jobs, there's no more workers, and when there's no more workers, there's no more much of anything. There's probably not going to be a whole lot to see behind every door. Remember, most of this is made for players to kind of make their own experiences in. And I do wonder how this map is meant to be played, because everything is so clearly done with intention. I mean, everything I've been saying about everyone just kind of finding their own little hole to crawl into and making it their own, that's pretty much what RP is all about. And I love that there's so many different themes these days, because back when I was playing RP, it felt like everything was just some flavor of like normal modern city. There were a couple with specific themes, but now there's like an RP map for everything. And I do believe that the way an RP map presents will influence, even if people don't intend to be, the way people play those maps and the stories they come up with. I do feel that the whole purpose of RP in general is to create stories for others and to come away with stories. This one's been blocked off. Anything going on in the destroyed building? Nope. Hang on. Yep, there we go. But it's all for naught. I guess somebody decided there's no fixing this, and therefore no keeping heat in, and so they just put up their own barrier. That was bricked even before that, I imagine. Look at this. This alley ends right at the base of the castle. Literally running right up into it. I mean, that's insane to me. I know in a lot of European cities there's very old construction like this, and it pretty much has to be intermixed with the new stuff. Like, there's pretty much no avoiding it. I swear, though, almost nobody has functioning windows. Up here does. No, this is the penthouse. Okay, then, where can we go from here? I mean, when you look around, it doesn't feel like the map is all that big by surface area, but it definitely packs in a lot of complexity. So much room for wandering. And from an RP perspective, very easy to lose pursuers in amid all this. Chases must be very exciting. I walked over this thinking there was a 50-50 chance I walk over it or through it. Ooh. I imagine this floods quite badly when it rains. Which I guess just means it turns into a community swimming pool, right? Look, all these canopies that were probably once so pretty when this place was alive. Now completely left in tatters all over. The only thing that seems to be open here is, of course, the bar. Maybe everyone isn't gone. Maybe they're just all there. Honestly, though, a place like this, where it's so pedestrian-oriented, where everything weaves... I feel like this is some of the best living possible, where it's so low stress getting anywhere, where there's always people around and you can just strike up a conversation. So rare. Of course, this being the poor part of town, the bar can't afford tables. I mean, you can sit on this perch next to the window if you want, but only if you're a paying customer. No, seriously, this looks like a jail holding cell turned into a bar. That's all for here. Clotheslines still stretched out, although you get the impression that somebody put those out to dry and never came back for them. That's the thing about a clothesline, is that it just looks like set dressing, but there's so much meaning packed into it. Somebody put that out there thinking they were going to bring it back in, and then for one reason or another, they didn't. But yeah, there's a lot of rooms, but there's not a whole lot to do with them. Like, they don't really have windows or anything. Granted, I've been out of it for so long, I don't really know how RP is usually played. Like, do people often furnish rooms and stuff, or is it just space for putting things? There's a ladder over here. Not a bad place to hide. Not a bad place at all. There's hidden luxury here. Oh. No. We've already been here. This is the upper level of the brewery. Okay, I think we're finished now then. I think we've seen everything in this area. Actually, I don't think I've been through here before. Hello? That's a strange sight after all this... Oh. Huh, this must be the local butcher shop. Hang on. What is that? Are those ribs poking through, or are those teeth and this is a giant head? Whatever it is, it looks scaly. Like some kind of giant reptile. Okay, this was made to look like some kind of sterile butcher shop, but now it looks more like the entrance to a cult sacrifice. Look at this. How did this room come to be this way? It just looks like a generator. I mean, at first I thought, hey, maybe that's just like the layer of paint beneath it, but no, it's on the floor as well. That is definitely blood. And that sounds a lot like distant thunder that for some reason only exists down here. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? God, they're skinned and left to rot. What even is this? What even is this place? Is this just the front, or is this whole thing some kind of illicit operation? Do they maybe need to make sacrifices for new meat, or maybe the sacrifices are the new meat? Is this place really that desperate? Okay, well, it wouldn't be a Gary's Mod exploration if there weren't some dark secret to a map, right? Look at that, metal smokestacks rising out of the ruins. Maybe they had some kind of rudimentary industry as well, or maybe they were just in the way of what we built. Those look like UV lights. I don't like how that decided to close on its own when most of the other doors aren't doing that, but that's fine. You know what? I think those are the upper windows of the room we were just in. I hope nobody would get too close and look down. Unless everybody around here was in on it. Look, it's something so horrific, you have to do it out of sight of the gods. Well, it just leaves one more place to go. And go in we shall. You can just imagine what it must have looked like. I mean, all of this is down here now. Imagine what must have been there then. Sprawling cities full of life. Then it all went away. Then eventually another sprawling city full of life was built in its shadow, and now that too remains empty. This temple being the one constant. Maybe there will be something else here in the future. And look, they even built it handicapped accessible. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, we're going back to the lantern for this one. Not that it really helps much in this cavernous space. We can hear the air moving around in here, the motes of dust floating beneath the glow from the skylight, and water dripping somewhere. Oh, look. I bet at one time this would have been a bridge that spanned the gap. I'm actually thinking, looking at these drains, maybe this was meant to be able to be flooded? Like as a defense mechanism in case of invaders? Also, I'm noticing a very normal rectangular door that's been bricked down there. And a little red glow down there. There's steam rising from that, or vapor or something. That looks like modern AC. What the heck? Alright, well, got a couple of different ways we can go. Like through here. Looks like parts of it are collapsed, truly in ruins. With the utilitarian mindset, like almost turn-of-the-century capitalism, I wonder if the society even cared enough to try and excavate. Well, clearly someone's using it. Oh, that looks so precarious, and I love it. Look, the top ones are even, like, leaning over a little bit, like this could all tumble over in a mess, a hailstorm of paper at any moment. I don't like standing under this. Look, all lockboxes. Is this the closest thing this place has to a bank? Huh. I wonder if this would have been used as like a city hall back in the days when the subway station was built. There's a photo on the table there. Those look like people. One of them holding a push broom. And bodies on the ground. A window into this town's history, I guess, but I'm not sure what exactly is being communicated. All I know is that there's probably never been a happy time. Look at this. Imagine how gorgeous this presumably place of worship must have looked back in the day with the sun shining down through stained glass. I don't know what it is, but I can't help but look at this and be reminded of the corpses in the meat room. And I can't help but feel that whatever was done down there was done in the name of this being. Just like the ones down below, just like the mortals who would have worshipped this. I can't even fathom what this was. I don't know the names, I don't know the scripture, but I know that it was probably evil. I can feel the malevolence that it exudes. I mean, why else would it have to be kept in chains, even in worship? But I guess the candle suggests that someone has continued the tradition. Now it just looks like some kind of twisted gesture to a god we long ago forgot, and that's for the best. Maybe this place is cursed. Maybe that's why it keeps having so many problems. Maybe it's why civilization in one form or another keeps being destroyed, and whatever exists above this is just the next on the chopping block. Let's see if we can get beyond this door. It doesn't seem so. But it was certainly made for royalty, that's for sure. It looks like there is still a little something over here. Oh, look, a watch post has been erected at the top of the stairs. We can look down on all this and pretend we're even 1/100th the might of this. But we're really just standing on the shoulders of giants, maybe literally. Military zone. You've got another. There's an entrance down there, too. Oh. Stay away, government building. And we need graffiti to tell us that. If we need graffiti to tell us that, it is no longer a government building. Look at that. We can go from all the way at the top to all the way at the bottom. I never thought we'd see it from this angle, but I could say that for just about any aspect of this city. Would this have been like a security checkpoint? There's a whole district we've not yet seen. Oh my. It just never ends. This is marginally less dirty than the rest of what we've seen, but no less slapdash. Look at that, there's a flicker in the windows across the street. And this, I bet, is a subway entrance, right? Yes. We have already walked right by all of this. From here, you really see the mist slowly creeping over the floor. It's like we're stepping on ghosts coming through here. Wait. here? Oh, that's where we came out earlier from Scrapland. Huh, funny how I don't even recognize these places by the time I get back around to them. But yeah, at a certain point, I feel like I've got to stop just, like, opening every door. We've got the sounds, we've got the traffic, but everything is still very much built on foundations that rest above us. I mean, a lot of that old construction is still here. I wouldn't be surprised if these are really, like, 1,000-year-old buildings. We just happen to be living in them now. There's always something, isn't there? This map has certainly taken some unexpected directions. I mean, my lord, given where we started, given where it looked like it was going when we first crept out of that heat, I never could have imagined all the different variety of things we would see. There is so much going on in this map, and the weird thing about it is that it all flows together so well, so seamlessly. But this is certainly the nicest of the individual housing we've seen. Everyone has their own space. Some of these could even be made into shops or residential, depending on what you're feeling like. For example, I could not have predicted this coming in here. What is going on? As with most things on this map, I can't even get an idea. Just more empty spaces. Come on. Well, what do you say we see what's down that tunnel? As if I have any choice. Whoops. Huh, somebody had their very own secret lab. Look at, ooh. And they're not just an avid tinkerer. Maybe they're trying new and scientific ways to make sacrifices to the same beings. Maybe everyone in the city has their own ways of worshipping. Like it was made illegal, but everyone still does it underground. It's the secret that nobody can ignore. It literally hangs over this whole place. You know, I've heard about stuff like this in Egypt, where, like, grave robbing used to be done because people's houses literally had, like, foundations that could be, that could be dug into that led to ancient ruins. Yep. Actually, now that I think about it, you know where we saw something like that? On GM Catacombs. I remember that had an area where you broke through a wall and you were just in somebody's basement with a staircase leading up to a locked door. You could hear somebody, like, talking up there. There's just so much room for creativity. I've said it before, but I do think that, like, making maps is almost therapeutic in a way. Just allowing yourself to get started and see where it goes. But there is one more place to go. A place they're telling us to stay away from. Well, this is a little jarring. This probably leads to the airlock, which we can cycle. Oop. We can put up a little stopper and everything. Huh, it even sounds an alarm. Alright, let's lift the lockdown then. We don't want to trap ourselves in here. I love it when RP maps have systems like this, you know? Look at that. This looks like some kind of holding cell. Wait. Is this new, or are we actually just built into the ruins? Two pedestals where someone could stand and some device, actually a throne from the look of it, at the front. Maybe the powers that be do still worship these things, but they do so in secret? Huh. With these tiles lifted up, maybe even this has been abandoned for some time. But the fact that there's a holding cell right there definitely suggests bad things. A whole bunch of emergency gas masks lining the walls. Some of them are missing. Maybe there was an emergency at some point and only a couple of people were able to get out in time? And some sleeping quarters. Okay, well, I think that is all there is to see. So that was RP Sewer Lane, and this was so cool. This has got to be one of the most original RP releases on the workshop in recent memory. Like, there's so much going on here, so much lore and history. But it doesn't do what some RP maps do, where it focuses on that and it becomes like the subject of the map. It's all just here, and it can all be easily ignored. It's so pretty to look at, where just about everywhere has at least one standout, awe-inspiring feature. I mean, from down there, we can look up and see the moonlight filtering in through these windows. And it's not just that, because very much like most RP maps that usually give me trouble because the interiors are so empty, because you're meant to fill them out with whatever you want, even in spite of that, there's still enough here just in the architecture itself. I mean, I expected like a gradient with the old kind of transitioning into the new on a slope, but that's actually the exact opposite of what's happening. Even though this place is divided into fairly hard districts, there's so many connections between them, even in places you wouldn't necessarily expect. And so what actually happens is they're more twisted around each other rather than parallel to each other. There's so much artistry and variety that's put into it that, I mean, like I said, would maybe potentially go unnoticed during actual role-playing. But this is a map that, even on the workshop, they talk about the potential for exploring. So it's clear that this map was meant to serve many purposes, which I feel like is the ideal for Gary's mod. You want something that can be basically a slate for people to project what they want onto it. But that doesn't mean, and as I feel like this channel has proved over and over again, that doesn't mean that it can't also be doing its own thing. There's so much here that is left to implication, not necessarily a puzzle for the player to solve, but just something where we can walk around and think, what happened here at this time? What is it that we're walking through? And that means that it is ripe for a no-clip run. So let's have a look around. Doesn't look like there was any secret way for me to get up here that I didn't know about. Look at that. It's only now I realize you're not just sliced off at the top. It's actually like your head was cleaved in two vertically. We come up here and we are officially... Oh, that's efficient. The top of this structure is a skybox. This is so much bigger than I would have thought. And that's the thing, is like, from flying around up here, it doesn't look that big geographically, but it's just so dense, and things are overlapping so much that it definitely fills the space. Look, down there is the industrial area where we entered from the trash heap. I mean, look at this. When we no-clip around, in one image, we can see the normal city streets, the mad scientist's lab below, these towers with great skylights meant to appease some elder being, and the government facility built into that same castle, just with a modern coat of paint, and maybe a modern update to their take on this. Either way, they're definitely still practicing. I mean, it's like I've been saying, there's just so much variety on this map. Without sacrificing cohesion, it all feels like it belongs here, and it's also seamless in the transition between... Wait, have I seen this? Okay, here's the scary room. Wait, no. I didn't notice these openings on the other side. There's still a little bit more. Hang on, over there. Over there. Somebody was using this for milk crate storage. I mean, hey, real estate is real estate, right? This is why I do these no-clip runs. There's always something else. Look, it even connects right back into the subway station. Only this way, there would just be a sign asking us to please stay back. Look, stock room. But then how would one get up here? Okay, no, back to lantern. It's a dungeon. It's actually a dungeon, but it's been given a modern update. Never mind, guys. This explorer isn't over yet. Hello? All of this with now an industrial floor running beneath it. How does this come to be? Yep, and this is the other side. Maybe we can release the prisoners from here? Oh, it acts as an airlock, I see. Okay, then, where does all this lead? Down very deep, that's where. Oh wait, that's the subway platform below! I recognize that pile of dirt anywhere. It's really weird and glowing purple. There's something here. A ladder, hang on. Ooh. Ow. It comes right out into here. What's up here then? Enough distractions. There's so much infrastructure leading into this, but if we look at the castle from the outside, it is huge. It is so much more than what we've seen. So much space, and so hard to determine what it's for. It just goes out onto another concrete overlook. Huh. It's all one facility. Well, okay, I think we are actually finished now, and I am very tired. Feels like I've been on a whole journey, and I suppose I have been. But if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this map out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.